Junie B. Cheater Pants, Chapter 6, Tin Can. The next morning, I sat next to Herb on the bus. I sat next to him every single day, on account of that's what bestest friends automatically do. Herb started talking about his new dog, Dilly, only I couldn't even pay attention that good, because how could you talk about Dilly when you've still got a note from your teacher in your pocket? Mother and Daddy had signed that dumb thing, and now I had to take it back to Mr. Scary. I slumped way down in the seat. School was not being fun these days. I looked at Herb. I wished I could tell him about my problem. Only, what if he didn't like cheaters, and he found out I was one? And then he didn't like me either. I thought and thought real hard. Then finally, I took a deep breath, and I decided to risk it. I leaned real close to his ear and I whispered to him a very secret. Okay, here's the situation, Herb. I said, I'm in a little bit of trouble at school, only I'm really not bad, I promise. It's just that yesterday I accidentally did something wrong, but I didn't actually want to tell you what it was, or else you might not like me anymore. Herb looked at me and shrugged. You copied May's homework when you went to the office? He said. I did a gasp at that boy, because how did he know that private information? I scratched my head. But, how did you even... Herb interrupted me. I saw you, he said. Lenny and Jose saw you too. You're a really terrible sneak, Junie B. Really terrible, I mean. I did a little frown. That was not a compliment, possibly. Herb patted my arm. Don't worry, we still like you, he said. Just don't copy May's homework anymore, and then you won't get in trouble anymore. I nodded my head. Then I patted him back. That Herb is good for me, I think. Me and Herb walked to the room 1 together. Then we stopped right in our footsteps, because wowie, wow. The whole room looked different, I tell you. Instead of being in rows, all the desks were arranged in groups of circles. We looked in the back to where we sit. We were 5 desks in our group. May was already in her seat. She was cleaning her desktop with a moist towelette. Just then, Lenny and Jose walked in behind us. Whoa, said Lenny. What's going on here? Said Jose. Mr. Scary told us to please find our desks. He will explain this in a minute. All of us went back and sat down. Sitting in a circle feels friendly. We waved and smiled at each other, only not May. She looked smuggy at us. I already know why we're sitting like this, she said. I was the first one here this morning, and when you're the first, you get to know first. Jose stared at her moist towelette. He made a cuckoo sign. Just then, Mr. Scary went to the board and he wrote a weird word. Boys and girls, this morning we're going to be doing a poetry assignment, he said. That's why I arranged your desk like this. I want you to be able to talk over your thoughts and share ideas. He pointed at the weird word. It was spelled Cinquain. Does anyone want to try and pronounce this? He asked. Does anyone want to sound it out? May jumped right up. Tin can, she shouted. It's pronounced tin can. She grinned real delighted. I know it's tin can because you told me this morning. Remember? I was the first one here and I saw you write it on the board. And you told me it was pronounced tin can. Mr. Scary looked puzzled at her. Gee, I'm sorry, May, but it's not tin can, he said. You must have not heard me correctly. This word is pronounced like the word sin and cane. Sin cane. May crossed her arms. No, she said. I'm sure that's not what you told me. You said it was tin can, Mr. Scary. You know you did. Mr. Scary frowned. No, May, I didn't, he said. Now please take your seat. May sat down in a huff. She put her head on her desk and hid under her sweater. Mr. Scary looked back at the board. A cinquain is a poem that has 5 lines. he said, and each line has its own special rule. He wrote the 5 rules. First line, 1 word, title. Second line, 2 words that describe the title. Third line, 3 action words about the title. Fourth line, 4 words that express a thought or feeling about the title. Fifth line, 1 word that means the same thing as the title. After that, he wrote a sin cane for us to see. It was a poem called Pickle. Pickle. Bumpy, lumpy, crunching, munching, lunching. Cucumbers making you pucker, jerkin. I laughed at that crazy thing, because who ever heard of a pickle poem? Writing a sin cane is fun, I said. This assignment will be a breeze, I think. Mr. Scary smiled. Well, sometimes poems come very easily, Junie B, and other times they don't. But if you share words and ideas with each other, you can really help someone spark your imaginations, he said. He looked all around. In fact, I thought it might be fun for some of you to write a poem as a team, he said. May quick came out from under her sweater at that news. She looked at the group. Okay, fine, I'll be the team leader, she told us. After that, she made a mean face at Mr. Scary and she took out her pencil. I know that's what you were going to write about, she said kind of proudly. She waved her hands at us. You 4 guys, just talk about your normal stupid stuff and I'll write the poem. She said, I'll read it to you when I get it done. Lenny looked disappointed, but Mr. Scary said that we should write our poem together, May, he said. See, said Jose. We're supposed to share thoughts and ideas, remember? May threw her hands in the air. I knew it, she said. I knew working as a team wouldn't work. Fine, you guys write down your own dumb poem and I'll write mine. After that, she took her pencil and paper and she hid under her sweater again. All of us looked at each other and shrugged. Then we started right to work. I tapped on my chin. It says the first line needs to be the title, I said. So maybe the title should come first. May peeked her eyes out at me. Duh, she said. Jose covered her up again. Just then, Herb raised his hand. Hey, I know, he said. Since Mr. Scary wrote a pickle poem, why don't we write one about an olive? He leaned back in his chair and did a happy thumbs up. No one did a thumbs up back because that was kind of a dumb idea. An olive, I said. I hate olives, said Jose. I threw up an olive once, said Lenny. Herb looked irritated at us. I patted him. Don't be mad, I said. It's just that maybe there's something funner to write about than an olive. That's all. See, said Jose. Like maybe we could write about soccer. Playing soccer is fun, right? Yes, I said. Plus the bus to school is fun, right? Right, Herb? Me and you always have fun on the bus, don't we? Lenny shook his head. But I don't ride the bus, Junie B, he said. I think we should write about something that all of us know about. He thought for a second. Then he clapped his hands together. I know what we could write about. All of us use shampoo in our hair to keep it healthy and shiny. All of us do that, right? After that, me and Jose and Herb just looked at him. 'Cause sometimes Lenny is off the deep end. That's why. Finally, Jose put his head on his desk. Maybe we're making this too hard, he said. Why can't we just write about something easy? Like, how about all of us are friends or something? Herb smiled a little bit. Yeah, that's a good idea. We could write about the 4 of us, and we could call it Friends. See? Jose smiled too. See, he said. Or Amigos, maybe. Then I bounced up and down real excited, because the perfect title just hit me, that's why. It hit me right out of the clear blue sky. Pallies, I said. Let's call it Pallies, because that's what we are, right? All 4 of us are the best Pallies. The Pallies sounds like a cute title, don't you think? I looked real hopeful at them. Then all my Pallies started to smile. Our poem was off to a great start. That was chapter 6. Chapter 7, Pallies. We'll have to see what happens.